Welcome to the Female CEO podcast, hosted by Mark Sefton. You may know her name, but do you know her story? This podcast takes you behind the titles and into the moments that shape some of today's most inspiring women. We explore the paths they've taken, the businesses they've built, and how they've created success on their own terms. Created by the Female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome, these are honest, human conversations, rooted in real experience. Let the journey begin.
I want to welcome you to the Female CEO podcast.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have Gem Dentith. Gem is the owner of Gem Dentith Global.
Well, isn't it?
It is a bit of a mouthful.
Blame my father.
I will. I'll have words with him right after this recording. And Gem, you're a recent author, which we will talk about, your new book, Undressed, and it's been getting lots of global exposure. It's doing really well in the charts, so you must be very proud about that. So we will get into that. So you're a new author, so that's exciting. Mm-hmm. You also really help high achievers undress, which is obviously the name of your book, and really get to the nucleus of who they are and what they were put on this planet to do. You're very, very good at what you do.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful energy. You're very likable. And I think in business, sometimes the likability gets lost because people just want to make money.
Yeah.
You're very likable. You're very intuitive. And let's be honest, you know your shit.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to our conversation today. And I hope you are too.
Thank you very much.
I think it's a good place to start, as a woman. And I'm thinking, we're at the cusp end of the year. I'd love to know, Gem, what as a woman for you has been or is the hardest thing in being a woman right now?
I mean, that's a huge question.
Yeah, it is.
And it depends, how I answer that depends on kind of where I'm feeling and thinking at the time. So first of all, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
Define hard.
Hard is something that doesn't come natural, something that costs you something.
Okay. So if I just put my book head on, anything that's hard may not be in alignment with what's right for you or what's meant for you.
Okay.
That said, I mean, if I unpack that, is it hard because I haven't got the capability yet or the skill set yet? Is it hard because I've got some limited thinking or going on around that topic? So when you say right now, I mean, again, because I'm talking about all about presence, right now, like here now, nothing's hard. So it depends on, often things are hard because we have expectations that we set ourselves about a future state we want to be in. Or they're hard because we're trying to control a situation that's run its course. So actually, if I was working with a client on that question, I'd want to unpack what hard meant. And in this moment right now, nothing's hard. Yeah.
Your book's fresh. It come out this week, right?
Yeah.
It's called Undressed.
The power of being.
The power of being undressed.
Yeah.
See, devil's in the detail. And if anybody's going to pull me up, it's always going to be you, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's my job.
Of course, yeah, and you're very good at it. Tell us about the premise. What does your book solve?
The problem it solves.
Yeah.
So I think many, many, many of us are wearing a mask. We're performing in life. We're performing who we think we need to be in order to be accepted, to gain validation, to pretend we're okay, right? So I think as English people, someone says to us, how are you feeling today? And even if we're not feeling great, okay, I'm fine. I'm good. Really? And then they ask a follow-up question. Are you okay? You don't look okay. Oh, okay. Then now you've asked me twice. I'll tell you what's really going on. So I think the book strips back the mask. And I say undressed because it's stripping back the layers of the clothing we wear. When we're in business, I mean, I've been in many, many different roles. You put a suit on. you suit up, show up, deliver, depending on what that expectation of that role is, right? So I want to get to the nub, or as you said it, the nucleus. I don't say that in my book, but it's a really nice word. I want to get to the nucleus of an individual. So it helps them to really understand who they really truly are at their essence, at their core, and build their identity and their life around that. So that's really the core of the book.
Is the premise then of the book more about self-leadership in the sense of us undressing, or does it look at the environment? For example, in the natural, we wouldn't normally get undressed in public. We wouldn't normally get undressed in the living room or the kitchen. We'd get undressed in the bathroom or in the bedroom. Environment adds to our ability to undress. Does it talk about that as well?
It's not a physical undressing, just to let you know.
No, I knew that. I'm using that as
you need to read the book.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be doing
it's not physically undressing. So it's a stripping back of everything you're not. So it's the mental conditionings. It's the environmentally. I think once you've decoupled who you're not versus who you are, you turn up as your true self everywhere you are, in every environment, whether it's in your intimate relationships or whether it's your role in the office. Yeah. Go on, you got a follow-up question.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't meaning it like literally. Like I was meaning it metaphorically. But in order for somebody to feel safe, to feel vulnerable, to actually, when somebody says, "How are you?" There's two things that need to happen. One is you have to have courage and bravery and awareness of how you actually are. But if you're with someone who creates that space that is the bathroom, that is the bedroom where you can undress, then that actually becomes a big part of this whole ethos and mindset. So my question was really, is the focus more on you as an individual, or is it also about the environments we create for other people so they feel that they are safe to undress?
Yeah, I think once you understand where your experience as a human comes from and what are the I'll talk about energies in the book. So what's making up your experience right now? What are the ingredients that make up your experience right now? How do you have an experience? Once you understand that, you become very humble. And I think then you understand that that's how your experience works, but actually that's how everybody's experience works. So naturally then you will naturally create more psychological safety for other people and have more compassion and more understanding and know where they're at as well. So it kind of not only allows you, in using your language, to lead yourself. It's beyond the self, though. It's to the universal self. I go quite deep in the book. So once you understand your place in the world, you also then are able to see where other people fit within that too. So you just have a greater understanding about life itself, about where you fit in there. You become less of a separate person, a separate self, and you become much more integrated into the world. So by the very fact you go through the process of the undressing is only one phase, and then you've got the awaken and the realignment phase or alignment. Once you've gone through those three phases, naturally then, as you understand yourself more, you can then have a conversation with somebody else to see where they're at, because you've got a deeper set of eyes to see, if that makes sense. So your perception deepens. So then naturally, you wouldn't be judging them when you're talking to them. Naturally, you would have more space and create more psychological safety for that person, naturally. Yeah. You don't try and do it. It just happens. Yeah.
I interviewed someone recently. It was really interesting. I kind of like that they kick back on this, but it's the first time somebody has.
Okay.
They didn't like the idea or the terminology of safe space because they think that it creates people to be fragile.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that? Because I mean, for me, I think terminology, when we hear something like safe space, I think the definition of what safe space is, I mean, you said to me earlier, what does it mean to me? You know, and I think the definition of what we give to something is really important. But when I heard this, I thought this is really fascinating. I kind of want to ask people like yourself that have a voice, that have authority in this. So I'd love to hear.
Okay. So for some people, depending on who you're talking to, for example, ex-military guys, girls, safety, they do that day in, day out. So when you're trying to create a safe space for them, it's a triggering word. So I look at safety differently. I would look at safety within their system. It's their nervous system safety. So really it's about what is their nervous system doing right now? How can I create more safety within them? So at any one time, we're not having a relationship with the person. It's their nervous system that we're having a relationship with. So you can see where if they're in their dorsal vagus or their ventral vagus, or they're just completely shut down and they're kind of going into fight or flight mode. So when you're interacting with somebody, it's not about creating a safe environment necessarily. It's an inner environment. So you'll know where they're at depending on how they're responding to you, to know actually what the words are that you might need to use for them to get back into their place of safety within, which is their ventral vagus system, so the heart space. Yeah.
Interesting. And it is really important. I talk about speaking the language of the people you want to attract from a business point of view.
Yeah.
What we communicate and the words and the meanings we associate to that will either attract people or repel them.
Yeah, absolutely. But language is made up anyway. I mean, it's all made up. And we go into that in the book. Everything's made up. So if it's all made up, then what do you want to make up? And that's where the kind of like the power or the energy of that kind of universal creative mental energy comes into play. And we use it in business all the time when the leader's creating a vision of the organization and everybody's then following in that direction of the vision. So once you understand that you have the capacity to make stuff up, often we make stories up that obviously are not in our favor.
Right.
So we're making, this means that and that means that. And actually that thinking in itself then creates a feeling within the body. And therefore often, because we have more bias to look for danger than we do for positivity, we down spiral more than we up spiral. We go into, again, in the book, we go into this in a bit of detail around how you experience in the moment and therefore how to make that work for you rather than work against you.
A couple more questions on the book, and then I want us to move into the fact that we're on the cusp of entering into a new year.
Okay, yeah.
My next question with regards to the power of being undressed. What's been the hardest thing for you to undress?
Often you don't know that you need to. So when you're going through the undressing phase, you get to various different points in your own personal journey of like introspection and your inner journey. Often we spend the first 30 or so years on the external journey. But then when we bump into enough things in life, we realize, maybe there's an inner journey to go on first before you come back into the world and go on the external journey. So it's often things that you didn't know you needed to undress. We've always got layers of conditioning that we're not aware of until we're in a relationship with somebody, and then they make it very obvious that we have those things that we still need to work through. So for many people, including myself, actually, it would be probably childhood stuff that you thought you dealt with at a very young age, but then when you're in relationship with somebody, you have a trigger point, and that's always a mirror moment. We talk about mirror moments in the book. Mirror moment for not for you to then blame or condemn or push that person away, but to look within and go, okay, that triggered me. What's still there that I need to work through? So childhood stuff, I would say, that I thought I had dealt with, but obviously there was still stuff in there for me to actually then unpick and unpack. Yeah.
What do you think it takes a relationship to then bring this stuff to the surface?
They're the best, that relationships really are the best kind of like teaching ground. And often you'll find that people who've gone through this journey tend to not be in relationship. I don't need anyone, I'm good. But when I'm with people, it kind of all goes wrong. Those individuals probably need to be more in relationship to work through, because we mirror. When you're with an intimate partner, your energy is so intertwined, it's all entangled, and you're more vulnerable with them. All of the stuff that you've not dealt with. I mean, to the world, you're put on a mask, right? But you can't wear that mask all the time unless you've actually, uncoupled or delayed them. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, they see you morning, noon, and night. So there are going to be moments in the day where you'll flop back into your thinking that's not helpful. Your shadow self, some people call it. And therefore they just happen to be there to be able to mirror that back to you, which is great. Yeah.
So when I say to you, Gem, the wounds that we experience in relationship can only be healed in relationship. Does that?
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree with that. And it's even nicer when two people recognize that that's what's going on, and then together you can work through each other's and then spiral up together, like evolve together. Often when it gets hard is when it gets real, and that's when most people break up. But actually, if you stuck at it and realize that we're both hitting our ceiling, and this is where the work starts to evolve together in that relationship, it's amazing. So don't give up too soon.
Yes, you know when people like enter a relationship, they say like, you know, it's a honeymoon period. But then if you're saying that in relationship, it often brings, because I always say that when I'm triggered, it's really just revealing a part of me that still needs healing. So maybe a relationship, depending on how you look at it, if you are in a place where you're being triggered, is it that it's dysfunctional, or is it just this a great opportunity to get some serious healing done?
I think it depends on the person you're with as well. They need to also have a level of self-awareness and recognition that that's going on for them and going on for you at the same time. Somebody in a relationship, you told that person that thing for me, it's not you, but I know I need to work through it. But then they deliberately try and trigger you around that topic over and over and over again. Then maybe there's no respect there. So there are, it's not a black and white answer, but I think if you've got two self-aware people together that are working through their own childhood stuff, it's normally from childhood in the first 7 years where we're more in our, the kind of the brainwave state where we're just sponges, right? So I think if you've got two people that are very self-aware that that's going on, then you can work through it. If one of you's self-aware and the other one isn't, it's harder.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I wish you great success with this book.
Thank you.
I've seen it hit the charts. The last thing that I'd like you to really kind of say about the book before we move on is, there's something like 1,200 new books that hit the shelves every day.
1,200?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A lot.
Yeah.
Why should someone read this one?
Well, that's a really big question. Why should somebody
read
it?
Your own horn
I know, right? So this has taken me, I burnt out when I was 29, 30, and now I'm 43. So it's taken that long to get the book out.
You, by the way.
Thank you very much. But it took me that long to get the book out. And basically, I did a lot of studying and a lot of introspection on the human condition to get this book out. And the reason why it took so long is I had to live it. So I would say if you're somebody who wants to really go deep, so not the superficial, only the yoga, only the breath work, only this, but want to understand the mechanics of a human experience before you then set upon your direction in life. If you're really searching for your purpose, like me, I've done so many careers. I've been change managers are so good at changing, right? So if you're somebody who I would say wants to really understand themselves and why are they on this planet to do what? What's your real purpose? What's your real dharma? But then not only you have that a level of awakening and understanding, but actually then go into the world and make it happen, then I'd say read the book. And in the middle part of the book, we do all the sacred self-care. So you will get the yoga and the breath work and all of the great stuff for the body, but that's to clean up the system because you haven't got a channel to understand what you're here to do unless you've got a clean system, a clean mind and a clean body. But it's got everything in there from science and neuroscience to yoga and energy and energetics, and then the traditional coaching at the end to actually take you from a survival-led or in that survival state all the way through to being more source-led. So everything transforms. Your relationships transform, your health transforms, your mental, your physical health transform, and then you know what you want to do with life. So it answers a lot of problems for a lot of different people.
Very good.
Yeah.
We're on the cusp of entering 2026, and people will probably listen to this right in January, where I think, there is that kind of expectation that it's interesting how our brains work. Because we always think, yeah, January, we can start a new year. I mean, you can start whenever you need to start. But we tend to use the new year as a platform or an opportunity to be able to set the scene. What are your thoughts really on us entering 2026? I know that you have a definite woo-woo side. And I think you've talked
woo-woo.
You do a little bit.
It's not woo-woo.
Not
it's more reality than reality.
We haven't really talked about it. It's because we know each other. So, you know, we've talked about astrology and we've talked about all those other things that I would just put into woo-woo, but it certainly is
more science in that then. I mean, we can get onto this debate if you like.
Of course. But apparently this 2025 was the year of the snake.
That's right.
And the year of the horse is upon us.
That's Chinese New Year, Chinese.
February 17th. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit, how do we start and use momentum to drive into this new year ahead?
This is a lovely topic. And I'm not an astrologist. I don't claim to be. However, I'm very in tune, I would say, like many people are. And many people will become very in tune once you've undressed. Because we are anyway, by nature, right?
So that's the byproduct of undressing.
Yeah, you get very...
vulnerability.
Vulnerability, I'd say more... Awareness, it's not... vulnerability, that's a really sticky word in itself. Okay. But I think more transparency, but you've got more energy. So you're not really vulnerable in a way that you're just sharing all your problems because you haven't got as many problems to share. But when you do, you'd say, yeah, okay, cool. This happened to me too. And that's it. Was no story behind it. So it's less attachment to the story. It's just you had an experience and that's it. So I think with 2026, it's about the energy of the horse, as you mentioned. So a little side story. About 2 months ago, I've been obsessed with horses and I did not know why. And I mean obsessed with horses. Every Instagram picture, I was like sharing it. I was walking past these horse stables near me every morning when I go for my morning run or morning walk. And I was just in awe of them. It wasn't until recently that I realised that next year, Chinese New Year, is actually the year of the horse. The year of the snake has been interesting. So for many people this year, it's been a stripping. It's been a letting go of relationships. It's been letting go of habits and things and places and jobs and everything that doesn't really serve us. Next year is great. So now we've shed this snake skin. Now it's a year of momentum and galloping and horse, that horsepower. So it's great. Next year for many people will be amazing, where things are, happening. I think you have to go for a period of letting go before you can then, draw things in and become that person that you're always meant to become. The book is perfect timing for that because that's what it's all about. And again, nothing's ever coincidence, right? And it wasn't really timed for this year in this way. It just kind of happened. So I think to answer your question, to step into 2026 or step into the next moment, because it's about moments, right? Most people make the mistake, and what they'll do is they'll have a vision board. And then they'll think, when I've got these things on my vision board, then I'll be whatever you've set out yourself to be. I'll be happy, I'll be content, I'll be, magnetic, I'll be whatever, right? So I would say whatever the energy, when you create your vision board, because most people do, or you set your goals, ask yourself, who do I need to become in order to achieve those things and take the inspired action to achieve those things? And then the consistent inspired action. Because with January, what happens is everything sets off well because the brain loves novelty. So those goals will be novel at first, and then the brain will get bored, and then you'll change your goals, and then you realize you failed and you haven't achieved what you wanted to. So it's about setting the stall out at the beginning and the energy of already having had achieved those things, I would say. But then I would also say, don't wait till January. I'd say step into the energy, not today or next minute, the next moment. Yeah. It's always about who we're being in the moment.
I love setting goals. But one thing I've noticed, and I just wonder if you've got an opinion on this or some wisdom in it. I set goals every year.
Yeah.
Normally around the 29th of December. It's where I reflect on my year. And then in those reflections, it determines growth or opportunity that I'd like to see the following year. That's typically, and I've created a GPS system which is based on 10 fundamentals of what I believe makes up a person's DNA. So I set a goal within each of those. By February, there's always something that comes from left field that becomes the main or a significant focus for me. But it wasn't on my radar. It wasn't in my sphere of understanding, but it just comes. Why is that?
Is it bigger and better than the goal that you set?
Often, yeah.
Oh, great.
I just find it really interesting. Why does that happen?
Because we think we know what we need, and often we're creating what we think we need from a place of fear, right? But actually, when you start that energy in motion, you kind of have to say to yourself, this goal or bigger, this goal or better. So this or more, or this or, yeah. And that, I think, attracts the energy. And also when you're in that momentum, you've got that forward motion, you get rewarded for that. It's just the way the universe works.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer that your gifting makes room for you. So what's within you is trying to find a way out. When you then add to it the fact that you also know that you're pregnant with so many great things inside you. I love the metaphor of pregnancy, Gem, because like a woman doesn't even show until like 3 months in most cases into a pregnancy, yet the baby is growing. There's something within you that's already developing and growing before you see it physically change and become part of reality. And I think a lot of your book is really about that. Beautiful.
So in the awakened phase, it's like that seed of manifestation. It's that seed of desire. It's a seed of like true alignment. And again, I keep going back to the same like methodology, but once you've kind of stripped everything down, it's more obvious what that seed is.
Yeah.
The intent comes forward. The desire comes forward. The true intention, the true purpose comes through.
Yeah.
But often we're too distracted. We're too in our senses. We haven't had the inner sight to understand what that is for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it comes through really, really nicely in the second part of the book. And then it's about holding on to that. And like you say, it's like a seed that's already within you. And I say that seed is within everybody, actually. And if you often see, animals in the wild and creatures, they all know what they're here to do. They don't have to go to an ant school to know how to be an ant. They don't. A bee doesn't go to bee school to know how to be a bee. We don't really need to go to school to know how to be for our purposes.
Yeah.
But once we have, obviously, because we live in a very Western world, once we know fundamentally what that is within us, then we might need to go and get the skills and capabilities to bring that through. But one thing that you did mention that I want to touch on is qualities. What we don't often think about is what quality do I want to bring through this year? And we'll go into like the core qualities and the core characteristics of the three things, the makeup of a human being. So it's a case of what quality of universal intelligence I want to bring through, what quality of my true essence do I want to bring through? Because often it's the quality that we're lacking, and that's why it hasn't manifested yet.
Nice. We've only got a few minutes left.
Yeah.
I just want to create space for you to just share anything that's burning or something that you want to leave with the audience today based on maybe something we've discussed or maybe something we haven't. It could be intuitive that you just get a sense. You drove over here, it took you an hour and a half. Like, was there a word or impartation that you want to leave with us?
I haven't thought about this, but it's a really nice question. So thank you for asking it. I think for the audience, so I was speaking to Trisha on the way down, and I think the biggest gift that we can give us is that mental space before we go again. Try and find a moment of stillness. And my ex-husband used to always say, Gem, you keep shaking the snow globe. Let the snow globe settle. And it's true for many of us. So I think over the Christmas period, just really allow yourself, because all of the individuals watching this are super ambitious and, in terms of career women and super successful in their own way. I just think and I'm the same, we don't give ourselves enough rest just to allow ourselves that little pit stop before we go again. So I think read the book over the holiday, have a little pit stop, and then set your goals or set your intentions for the year from that space, rather than thinking another task to do or another chore to do is to carve some time out and set the goals. Really make it like a ceremony, you know, of sitting down and relaxing. Allow the body just to come back to its natural state, back into the ventral vagus center, and just relax, and then see what comes through for the intentions for the new year.
Amazing. And how do people find out more about you?
I'm on all social media platforms, it seems, these days.
Yeah.
My website, obviously, gemdentith.com, and Instagram, I am Gem Dentith. Or what else? That's it, really, isn't it? Those two main. Yeah.
Gem, it's been great to have you on today's Female CEO podcast. See you again, as always.
You've been listening to the Female CEO podcast, created by the Female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome. This podcast amplifies women's voices, stories, and lived experience. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our YouTube channel, and discover more at thefemaleceo.com.